He starts talking about this beating that this guy took for me. And he starts talking about the blood and the fight, and it resonated with me because of all the fights I've been in and all the blood I've spilled and all of my blood that's hit the ground. And I started thinking, man, what have I been doing? I remember the last time, my dad was in the house, and I was probably 3 or 4, it had to be, and I remember them arguing, and I walked into my mom's room and I asked her why she was crying, and she told me it was sweat in her eyes. And that was the last time I remember seeing my dad and my mom in the house together. My mom took the place of him, I guess, and did it well. Like, my mom was like my hero. My mom was a architect, so we had money. There was nothing I lacked. And I just started smoking weed at 12 years old. I played sports from the time I was 5 years old up until the time I was 15. And then I'm 20 years old and I moved to West Palm Beach. And that's when I, as I like to say, got introduced to the devil. I was on a plethora of drugs, whatever it was. We would play a show and I'd be on heroin, whatever. And then I'd wake up in the morning and I would need something to just get me out of bed. And then just start my day, and I was living a rock star life with no consequences. It was just drug after drug after drug, and I would take so many different drugs at once just to see how far I could push the limit before I would die. And I wanted to be like somewhere like right here, really high, but still alive. And a few times it didn't work out that way, and I ended up on the ground. I remember coming to one time, I had just, blood was coming out of my nose, my ears, I was throwing up, I had puke all over me. And the paramedics were there, and I remember looking down and I got this needle sticking out of my chest because they said I flatlined, so they hit me with adrenaline to wake me. And then when I went to the hospital, I wake up again and I got charcoal running through me and they're pumping my stomach. And when my manager of the band shows up, I remember I was on the phone trying to find directions to a party so I could go get high. And I've still got the charcoal, and I remember him walking in and him hearing me getting directions, and he cussed me out. And he was like, I'm taking you home, I'm taking you home. And I was so pissed that they were gonna take me home instead of taking me to the party. 2002 to 2005, I was growing a lot of weed. Was making a lot of money growing weed. And then I started smoking a lot of crack. And the SWAT team one day came to pull me out of the house in West Palm Beach. And I didn't even go to jail, I went right into the mental hospital. And I was 35 years old and I had to move back in with my mother at 35 because I had no place else to go. And that was probably the lowest point in my life that I had hit. And I realized, dude, there's nothing left. There's nobody left. I've alienated everybody I know. Nobody wants to help me anymore because all the bridges, I was covered in ashes from all the bridges I burned. And the only person left to go to was back to mommy's house. So that's what I did. Moved back to my mom's house. Now Jesse's calling me every day, dude, you gotta come to church. I'm like, bro, I don't want nothing to do with your Jesus, dude. Leave me alone. Stop. But at the same time, Jesse was the one dude when we were growing up where my mom said, don't hang around him. He was the worst kid of us all. He had all the felonies. He was stealing cars. Jesse was the worst person. And now the worst person in the neighborhood is calling me, telling me that this guy named Jesus saved him. And I remember hanging up the phone, and I remember saying, man, if God can save Jesse, maybe there is hope for me. I remember saying that. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go, just to shut everybody up. I'll go, and the church was meeting in a movie theater, man, and I sat at the last row at the last seat by the door so I could just get up and leave when I wanted to. And the music's playing, and I'm like, this music sucks, man. I don't wanna be, I'm a musician, dude. You gotta come harder than this. Like, I just, and then the guy starts talking. And he starts talking about this beating that this guy took for me. And he starts talking about the blood and the fight, and it resonated with me because of all the fights I've been in and all the blood I've spilled and all of my blood that's hit the ground. And I started thinking, man, what have I been doing? And I remember just kind of hearing something, I didn't know what it was, but it just said, try me. And then it hit me like, oh man, I think I'm getting ready to take Jesus in my life. Like, it was weird because I had no clue what was about to happen, you know? And that day I got saved. I was 35 years old. And it's all, for me, what I believe, it's all in the surrender. I finally gave up. And looking back, it's just amazing. And I thank God all the time that he just didn't take me out when I deserved to be taken out. There's a better life out there. You don't have to live in addiction. You don't have to live in depression. You don't have to live in anxiety. You can find hope. And for me, that hope has a name, and that name is Jesus Christ. And there's so many places where you can reach out and get help. You don't need to go through what I went through. Turn your hopelessness into hope and let God be God. Let God do what God said he was going to do. And that's transform your life, man.